All right, the Houston Texans just got some great injury news. Like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, who thought you could have great injury news in February? But they got it. And so if you're new to this channel, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about where this player fits in, why his health is so important, and we're going to go into some cap stuff. We're going to go into free agency, all that good stuff. But if you're new to this channel, we make a ton of Texans content. We're well over 50 videos at this point for the Texans. And we started this channel. We already had another one, Sports Talk Detroit. You see some of the Lions memorabilia and stuff behind me here. But we love the NFL, and we love teams that the national media ignores. So we are all about the Texans. We do a lot of Browns videos as well. And if you want, we want to be your go-to spot for Texans content. We do. We've kind of fallen in love with the Texans and everything they're doing. We started doing these videos before the season even started, because we thought the team had a lot of promise. And man, oh man, has that paid off. So the Texans are expecting a promising wide receiver to return for OTAs. Per Aaron Wilson of KPRC TV in Houston, wide receiver Tank Dell said he expects to return for OTAs in May. All right, he suffered a season-ending fibula fracture in Week 13 against the Broncos, and he is expected to be back. In 11 games, he logged 47 receptions for 709 yards, and he had a couple of games that were just unreal. We'll get into those in a minute, but first let's familiarize you with who Tank Dell is. Then we'll go into why he's so important for this team, because even though you sit at, I think, third or fourth, the third or fourth most money remaining to spend this offseason, I'm going to explain to you why you might not actually have as much money as you think. You still have a lot, don't worry. But why Tank Dell could be so important to bring back. And I will explain, then we'll pop into a couple of other things and what other options might be. So first, let's remind you of who Tank Dell is. And I don't know if you've ever seen this. I like this. This is usually a good indicator, but every once in a while you have a guy that just simply knows how to do things. Tank Dell coming out of Houston. So you wonder, like, all right, I mean, he's getting great separation in college. He seems to be running away from people, but is he that fast? We know he's not tall. We know he's not heavy. We know all these kind of things. So he goes and he tests, and his speed grade is great. Now, I would say it's good on paper, like with the testing goes. I would say on the field it's great. Like, it absolutely is. His score is really bad because of his size. If he doesn't have a bad size, his RAS is up in the 8 or 9 range. And if you're not familiar with RAS, it stands for, you see it right here, raw athletic score. And relative athletic score. And basically what that means is, of all the wide receivers who have ever tested, he ranks as a 5.82. In other words, right in the middle of the line. All right, as far as an athlete is concerned, based on NFL standards, because they care about size, they care about all that kind of stuff. Hey, maybe what I need to do right now while I'm talking to you is look up what Nico Collins was for his RAS, just to give you a little bit of a comparison on it. And I always think that this is a lot of fun. So I've now done that. So Nico Collins, on the other hand, is a 9.76. So Nico Collins is basically your, like a Greek god when it comes to if you put together a perfect wide receiver, this is what he would look like. 6'4", 215 pounds. He can bench. He has great explosion with vertical and broad jump. He's very fast, right? He has big hands, like everything that you'd want. The only thing he struggled in was the shuttle. And I mean, who's doing that? Like, he doesn't need to be doing that. So that is who Nico Collins is. But here's how the Texans used him. They realized he was fast and quick. He was amazing at creating separation at the top of his routes. And what I mean by that is that 10 to 15 yards down the field range, this dude just, I don't know why it's giving me fireworks right now. I didn't give the double thumbs up, but whatever. All right, so like I'm excited. Yeah, I'd want to create separation at 10 to 15 yards too, computer. Thank you so much for the excitement. But he sat there, and when you watch him, go back, watch some highlights, watch some film. He is remarkable at creating separation at the top of his route. So whether that means going 10 or 15 yards, running out, running an in, going on a slant, whether it's a stutter and go for a deep ball, the amount of times that CJ Stroud found Tank Dell as he was maneuvering out of the pocket because people simply can't stay with him. They can't. They can't stay with Tank at all. All right. And his PFF grade kind of backed that up. All right. He had an 83.3 receiving grade with an 84 overall. He averaged 15 yards per reception. So right at that top of the route kind of average. That's what he would get. CJ Stroud's passer rating when targeting Tank Dell was 115. That's a really good rating. All right. So everything you see from him is good. Now, the question is when he's standing there at 5'8" and he weighs 165 pounds, you have to worry about exactly what happened. It's not like he had a small injury here. He broke his shin, like he broke his fibula, right? So you look at that and you're like, okay, like is that somebody who just doesn't have enough meat on the bone, or is that a freak injury? Because he stayed fairly healthy outside of that. So the reason, like, you need to wonder. So here's what I wanted to talk to everybody about. The reason why I just wanted to say, hey, it's important to have him back is because you have right here, according to SpoTrack, over the cap, everything's within a few million. You have around, I've seen as low as 62 up to 68 million. It's a little bit lower now at 62 million because all the dead cap set in, and these are your guys that the dead cap, you have $15 million hit, which isn't good. It's not bad. I don't think you have many contracts that you're going to get rid of. But here's the deal. Okay, let's say you have 62 million. You're going to pay Nico 20. I hope you do. You should. Please pay Nico. Please. Don't go and spend big money on Evans. Just pay Nico. You have Mike Evans here. I've said this all year. All right? Jonathan Greenard. All right? You're going to pay him 12 to 15 million. You are, if you want to keep him. So now all of a sudden you're 35 to 40 million spent of that 62. Dalton Schultz, do you want to keep him? That's going to be another 10 million. All right, so now all of a sudden you're at 45 or 50, and you're like, oh man, all these free agents I wanted to go re-sign, we only have 10 to 15 million. Now, you absolutely can back end these deals, especially because of what you have with Stroud, so you do have the ability to go spend big money. I do understand that. I'm just saying that's not usually the way teams make it work. Like, that is not what ends up being great for everybody. So it's up to you. And here's the other beautiful thing. Your two best and most expensive positions are quarterback and defensive end, edge rusher. Those are and obviously tackles. You have them. You have Laramie Tunsil, all right, and you're paying him. You have CJ Stroud. You have Will Anderson. They're on rookie contracts. 3 more years at a super discounted rate. And then a 4th year that will be at still a discounted rate. So if you want to go and you want to make big signings, you absolutely can do that. They have to be 4-year contracts and under, preferably 3, to keep everything where it needs to be. And then you continue to draft and you continue to replace and fill in back. You got a 3 to 4 year window here, Texans fans, where you could be the toast of the league. Enjoy it, and Tank Dell is one of those guys that will help that engine go. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.